On today's Minute of the Apes, if you ever lose something, just make sure to check your butthole.
Take your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape!
Because of the divine bomb.
The only good human is a dead human! Where there is fire, there is smoke.
The minute of the apes. The minute of the apes. The minute of the apes. The minute of the apes.
Hello and welcome to Minute of the Apes, the daily podcast where we break down every minute of the Planet of the Apes movies 1 minute at a time. I'm Todd, and let me explain Sean. So do
we have to explain, Sean?
Okay, I was going to say, and I think you can agree with me like no other can, to be Sean's friend commands that you must occasionally explain Sean.
Yes, this is true. This is very true.
So in between, where we got the idea of the actual in-betweens were the idea that we usually shoot the shit for a few minutes in between and we talk about things, and sometimes our conversations will go off the rails and we'll do it. And Sean was actually one who said, let's make a segment called In Between, blah, 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 blah. Well, today's In Between for that moment was incredibly short, as Sean wanted to show us a music video by a guy that he likes, and he makes comedic type things. And in that song, it's a succession of shots of him playing, all edited very quickly together. He plays all the instruments, and the lyrics of the song were along the lines of, if you're looking for your keys, why don't you check your butthole?
If you ever lose something and you're in a stress situation.
And there's nothing like Sean when Sean gets in these moments of he loves these things. So the fact that he teased looking at your butthole, I was not overly surprised. I knew, as a matter of fact. In fact, let me go back to yesterday. I'm taking a page from you. You have inspired me as I edit some of these because you're so good with actually pulling the teases from the minute.
Right.
And, I like that.
Yeah.
I also know this as I don't do a lot of the teases because I'm pushing all the buttons. But as I try to insert a few here and there, I still know, no matter what, that lovely gentleman on the opposite side of the table is never going to tease the actual minute himself. It's always going to be something butthole.
What were we just talking about? Well, I'm going to use that as my tease.
Yeah.
Well, the guy's name is Tom Cardy, if anybody wants to look him up on YouTube.
He's funny. He's talented. I love
you
people
might
like
find
that.
him in your butthole. I mean, if you're looking for him.
Wow, I did not expect you to go to the butthole. When Richard goes to the butthole, we know that this is a blue show. It's just not going anywhere. Okay, so here we are. It's minute 62.
Hey,
minute 62.
Not easy for you to say.
I might look for my mouth and my butthole. Ooh, wait, hang on. Minute 62.
It's not that kind of party.
Sean, tell us what's going on.
All right, we're going to start minute 62 with General Aldo saying attacked by humans from without and within, and ends with Culp saying he doesn't want to see anything left alive.
All right, without any butthole references throughout the entire minute, here's minute 62, Battle for the Planet of the Apes.
Attacked by humans from without and within. Who cares where Caesar is?
I care. There is a law that weapons may only be issued from this armory under direct orders from Caesar, and not under threats from one of his thicker-headed subordinates for whom war means only personal glory. Now find me Caesar. I will listen to him.
First, listen to this. Give every gun in the place. Everything. Get the ammo boxes. Get the handgun. Grenades.
Stop! Stop! Caesar forbids you!
Well, there it is. Ape City. When we leave, I don't want to see one tree left standing, two pieces of wood nailed together, or anything left alive.
As a minute 62, we have a village's worth of apes and humans, plus a ghost city worth of radioactive people, and a missing Ricky still.
Richard and I had a number of moments where I think we were both giggling over some things in this minute. So
It's not a bad minute, but there's just a couple of moments.
It does serve the story well. There are a lot of things in this that do what we ask it to do, that they're good. So let me visually just give you what you get. You get a little more of Aldo outside talking to Mandemus. We get the gorillas breaking in, kind of oddly. We get a very well lit interior of the armory.
Even more well lit than it was with.
Yeah.
That's why it's confused. Like these are shot at the same time.
Yeah.
But we clearly see everything inside. Whereas in the earlier part of the movie, when McDonald, we didn't. Go ahead. Sorry, I totally.
No, that's okay. We'll get to that.
Okay,
and then we cut over to Culp. Basically, I have things I want to talk about with Culp when we get there. But walking down, looking at things, even though he's wearing the rose-colored glasses, we get a shot cut to his binoculars without any rose tint to them.
Good point.
And we have he and his right-hand man. Got my right-hand man back. Sorry, I had a Hamilton moment. I couldn't go away from it. Looking down on Ape City. So this is an escalation point. Things are escalating. The gorillas are arming themselves. The mutants are threatening the ape village. We know what is coming. It's a good minute. But now let's get to the odd shit. So, like we said, we have the gorillas. We have a little more of that conversation before the gorillas decide to burst in. And now I can't not think of fucking hands coming in and actually ripping the door instead of... That's so much more brutal than opening a door.
Yeah, because it's this wooden shack, we knew it's not going to stand up to any sort of scrutiny or any sort of force trying to keep people out.
Did you know that the gorilla's advancing on the army door wielding a huge pine trunk as a battering ram was what we're supposed to be seeing on the outside?
That would make more sense.
That would make sense.
I don't see what they used. I couldn't see what they did.
They just kind of shoved the door open.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay. It looked like they hit it with something.
Can I say something? I'm sorry. May I say something about set construction here, and that being Mandemus's opening? I get the asymmetrical design of the original Ape City, that they're trying to show that it's not quite as evolved. I don't need you picking pieces of wood that are jutted wrong, and you can't cut the opening to be an opening that is square. My fucking back fence, when they built it, the guy literally took one piece of wood too long, and I got a saw to it. And people want that. You want that symmetry.
You don't want the wind and the water coming through.
Right.
You want it as sealed up as possible.
Right. And so, really, it's like almost too much of the let's do it again and again and again. The bamboo rods that are there are enough for me to say.
Or if you see them ripping off the
I would like to see
pieces of
that.
wood, and so they can get through a hole that they make.
I love you. You were talking about just before we started this thing about being overly critical about single moments because we break them down minute by minute. But this is definitely. You're definitely on that line there for me in terms of really getting nitpicky about something in this
okay, so the reason for that, I said to Richard that when one of our interviews, I had to explain to the person we're interviewing that, hey, if you listen to episodes, we get very critical, but this demands that you are almost critical, and you're right. This one pushed my button.
I know it did.
It was just, I was like, God, if I see one more fucking piece of wood that's jutted just wrong as in somebody, I'm an ape. Oh.
They kind of kept the design aesthetic, and if you go forward to Planet of the Apes, because the bars weren't always at right angles to each other, and the cages and everything. The city itself, there were, it was kind of rocky. It looked like a Flintstone thing. It wasn't. So, maybe that's how they like things to be built.
I mean,
they have a different design aesthetic.
I mean, wouldn't you want your armory to be a little more, well protected and maybe
armored
and, maybe not necessarily have candles all around the ammunition?
Well, I do like, the whole 3-wick candle that we have 3 of those in this shot. I didn't really start seeing 3-wick candles until probably about 10 years ago. It became very prevalent that you could buy them everywhere. Wow, they're ahead of things that they have these 3-wick candles and that they put off that much light.
So much light, yeah.
So we cut inside and the gorillas come in, and I know why they're kicking all the light. They want us to see all the weapons this time.
So real quick, Mandemus says that only Caesar can authorize release of weapons. What happens if Caesar was actually killed? Does that mean nobody ever gets weapons again? Does it mean Cornelius gets to decide who gets weapons? Does it mean it goes down? Is there an order of succession, a power, if something does happen?
Well, we don't even know how this came about. We don't know why the guns are locked away and why Caesar dictated the guns be locked away. Like, what about this particular aspect of their society do they need guns put away?
I have a feeling it was something, in the war, whenever they got their freedom and the humans all died and everything, that maybe he saw the guerrillas becoming more warlike, and he said, "We got to keep guns away from everybody except for special occasions. Otherwise,
Special occasions.
Yeah.
Hey, bang bang.
4th of July,
Yeah.
New Year's Eve.
Come on,
You know,
bitches. Pow pow pow.
But the guns being locked away would have been a really interesting point if that's what Caesar dictated when they came back from the city after what he saw. I mean, it'd be
Yeah, that's a good idea.
It'd be a really complex scene to put in here.
Mm-hmm.
What we're trying to move quickly along, but yeah, what if they'd been locked away because of what he saw in the city?
Yeah, but yes, it would be complex, but at the same time, he's got to return the guns that he took. Maybe when he comes back and says, we cannot.
And he takes them from Aldo, and then Aldo realizes we can't when
Right.
the humans come back. I don't know. It might have been nice. We don't know why the guns are locked away. We don't know why guerrillas can't have them. We don't know what Caesar saw, but we do know he flips on the destiny of their race and the people and the destruction of Earth after he sees the warning from his parents in the city. That flip seems like it might have happened sooner because he's locking away guns. You know,
So Mandemus keeps a very sloppy armor also. He has one rifle laying on a table. Maybe he's cleaning that rifle. Maybe he's so good with that. But then when it comes to the actual ammunition, the strips of bullets are just sort of arbitrarily tossed there together instead of stacked neatly. We get a shot of a mounted machine gun. I mean, it's all very cool stuff. But it is so well lit. Then when it comes back to Mandemus, it's not lit. So
Mandemus's great scream.
yeah. So I think that may be one of the most entertaining shared moments of listening to these minutes back together as a team. All three of us were laughing at the moment when Mandemus gets his
stop, Caesar forbids you.
Now, if this movie had been made today, at this point you would find out Mandemus was some sort of secret martial arts master, and he would have taken out like 3 or 4 of them before one of them finally hits him with a butt of a rifle in his head.
Or they would have killed him, or you would have gone for the thing that he was sacrificed and laid there. And
The
that
humans
would
did this.
Yeah.
They blame it on the humans.
Okay, so now we flip over to Culp coming down a hillside. May I ask a question? Is anyone kind of looking at the way he's dressed as though it's some weird fetish type thing?
So what it made me think of is it made me think of the black turtleneck, the jacket, the swinging binoculars, his pants, his goggles,
the gun across his crotch.
It made me kind of think of like late 60s swingers going to the club kind of thing.
Yes.
If his binoculars had become like a medallion, I could have seen him go into like a party where he's going to drop his keys into a bowl. Like it felt something about his swagger and everything just looked a little seductive or a little weird.
Well, if anybody watches Archer, he's got the tactile neck on.
Well, so we're also going from Mandemus's hut, which is nighttime, to now I guess early morning shot. They're in Gorilla City now because they're now lush. They're not in the desert anymore. They're all just casually lying on a hill.
Yeah.
There's no encampment.
Hey,
there's no
guys.
nothing. They're just hanging out.
I'm just gonna lay here until somebody says war.
It's very lazy, and I don't know what we're supposed to get from the laziness of the humans now inside Gorilla City, just hanging out on this hillside. At least make it look like an encampment.
If they're
of some
supposed
kind.
to be tired from a march, I mean, it really just looks like people just hanging out.
Well, put them all asleep in the school bus and have.
Yeah,
well, no, the
that's a good
school.
idea.
That's the thing. That was one of my notes. Where's the much lauded school bus? It's not here because it's a big fucking hill and they couldn't drive it up.
True. But I mean, it would be the perfect thing for everybody to be sleeping in. Is
Yeah.
in the school
Well, then
bus.
you got the leader of the pack over there on his motorcycle, like acting cool,
Yeah,
and I'm like, really? But
The Fonz.
I think, honestly, from this moment forward, the portrayal of the two sides coming to war with each other is incredibly sloppy, because there are. I'll jump ahead to say that as I made notes for subsequent minutes, there are times where screen direction is wrong. We got people going left to right, that then suddenly are going right to left, and it's like, what is this? Even the portrayal of how they come together is just. It's literally like, okay, put a camera and shoot. And this is one of the worst, because we needed. This is a great moment. We needed some kind of buffer between the night of breaking in and getting the weapons. We probably should have seen them taking the weapons out. We should have seen a bit more of that. Then we should have seen, to you guys' point, a little more of a strategic approach of people cowering, hiding. I'm sorry, the way this shows me, if he's
binocular distance,
exactly, and not just binocular distance, but that nice of a binocular distance.
Yeah.